Lesson 9.4. Lesson 9.4 looks a little something like this, everybody. We have to construct a polygon with given dimensions. Yeah, but it's kind of tricky. They want you to use some software we don't have. So I got a handout for us to do for homework tonight, everybody. I know this is causing some feedback, but hopefully you can hear me better. All right, so I got a handout for you guys to do today. It's an attachment on your Schoology page there under this assignment. But let me tell you a couple things about angles first, everybody. Angles can be labeled many different ways. All depends on what the angle looks like in the first place, everybody. So, let me show you a couple quick examples. And here we go. This, everybody, is what we call an angle. This point right here is what we call the vertex. Well, if I was talking about an angle, I just said angle A, I think you guys would all know what I was talking about. Hey, you must be talking about angle A right here. That's pretty easy. But here's the problem, everybody. Sometimes we have more than one angle created. Looks like I have two different angles right here. So, what we sometimes do, everybody, is label a whole bunch of different points. So imagine if I said, here's point B, here's point C, here's point D, and they all come together at this vertex, which I'm going to label point A. So, if I said, hey everybody, look at angle E, you'd say, oh, there's the E, but you wouldn't know which angle I'm talking about. Am I talking about this angle? Am I talking about this angle? Or am I talking about the big angle? You can't tell. So we have to get a little more specific, everybody, and when we want to talk about our specific angles, we use 3 letters. So for example, if I want to talk about this angle right here, I could call it angle BEC, or I could call it angle CEB. They're both talking about this angle right here. Going from B to point E to point C creates this angle right here. Well, if I started at C, went to E, and went back to B, I'd also be talking about this angle. So both of these are correct. Notice how E is in the middle of both of these, everybody. That's very important that the vertex is in the middle. Suppose I want to talk about this angle over here. I could call that angle CED or DEC. That would be referring to this angle. If I wanted to refer to this whole what looks like a 90-degree angle, again, there's 2 different choices. I could call it BED or DEB. Always having that vertex in the middle. So, let's now, everybody, take a close look. We got to talk about how to use a protractor, everybody. Protractors can be a rather simple tool, but they can also be confusing. Protractors come in different sizes. I got a really big protractor right here, compared to this little protractor that I have right here. Well, it depends on the size of the angle you want to measure. I got some small angles today. I'm going to use my small protractor. Now, take a close look at my protractor, everybody. What's peculiar about protractors is they have 2 sets of numbers, don't they? What does this line right here refer to? Is that a 30 or is that a 150? Well, the first thing you have to know is the difference between your obtuse and acute angles. You got to know what's bigger or less than 90 degrees. If you don't know that, then a protractor is not really going to tell you the answer. The other peculiar thing is they kind of go both ways. Some angles could open this way, some angles could open that way. So let me start taking a look at some examples here, everybody. See if I can hold this up here and demonstrate at the same time. All right. So, whole bunch of angles here, folks. Let's suppose I'm concerned about this angle A right here. It opens to the right, I would say. So, I first lay my protractor down. Did I have that upside down? Did I have that backwards the whole time? Maybe. All right. First thing I do is I line the point here up to the vertex of the angle. I then have to be absolutely sure that this side is right on top of that one side of the angle. Now, I know that this angle is less than 90 degrees. It has to be. So it must be acute. So when I line up the lower part of the protractor to this line, I'm now going to look at this line up here. And I'm going to say, where does that line go? Since it is less than 90 degrees, there's no point looking at these 3-digit numbers. So I'm going to start down here and say, well, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe a couple more, right? Maybe 62, 63 degrees might be my best guess for that one. Now, another common mistake students make is they immediately just jump right to the number. And some of them might say, oh, that's 76. Ooh, just like a number line, be real careful that you're following the numbers in order. That's why I kind of always like to start back on 0. Let's take a look at another angle, everybody. How about an obtuse angle like here on G? I'm going to put my point here in the middle on the vertex, and then I'm going to line up this side of the protractor right on top of that line down there. This is definitely an obtuse angle. It's more than 90 degrees. So now I'm going to ignore these 2-digit numbers down here. If 90 was right here, 100, 110, 120, I think I'm looking at maybe 124, maybe 125 degree obtuse angle right there. Would love to get these in your hands. Would love for you guys to practice this. Unfortunately, not too possible. We're going to do the best we can, everybody. Here's what your handout's going to look like tonight. It's going to be kind of tricky to do this, isn't it? I think you're going to have to look at this online and write down your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Fortunately, there's not a lot of work to show everybody. So, please notice, there's 2 parts to this handout, entitled, What Did Mrs. Claus Say During the Thunderstorm? Well, here's our weird set of angles up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 different angles up there. Be careful, pay attention to all those numbers, including the vertex O. Next, everybody, you're going to have a lower part that has a protractor with some lines already drawn in there. So you don't need a protractor yourself. We're just going to test you using this. The cool part is, all the answers are down here. This is your answer bank. What you're going to end up doing is finding the answer to this hilarious riddle, what did Mrs. Claus say during the thunderstorm? So, when you have the correct answer for the figure formed by 2 rays from the same endpoint as an angle, the answer is angle. Go down here, cross off angle, or you can, on your own piece of paper, put a T right in there. The idea of these corny worksheets, everybody, corny joke worksheets, is that you should get something in English. It might not make you laugh, but it should make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you got to go back and move some things around. Let me give you some quick advice. There's some tricky answers up here that even I didn't know the first time. So a good technique is to skip those. Use the process of elimination. Skip the ones you don't know, put in the answers you do know, and then see if you can go back in and plug in the words that you couldn't find. Or, in many cases, our new angle, like angle DOC. Angle DOC must be talking about this angle right here. If it's a number in degrees, then it has to be down in this lower part, everybody. They're going to trick you by some angles opening to the left, some angles opening to the right, but all the answers are right down here. Answer bank. If you get them wrong, you should be able to go back and fix them. Could be a little tricky to turn that in for me. I usually am not too concerned with the riddle. I'm more concerned with the mathematical answers. So the best thing for me would be to have all these answers written in a row. If you have the time, please figure out the answer to the riddle. Then you will know if you did this right or wrong. Miss you guys. Thanks for all your hard work. I know I don't have a lot of answers for you as far as submitting stuff. The easiest way for me, if I can be that selfish, is to somehow take a picture and upload that picture through Schoology. It comes right out on my Schoology gradebook. Makes it real easy for me. Otherwise, no big deal. Shoot me an email, have an attachment, maybe even a Schoology message, and I can look at your homework and download your homework from there. It would be nice if you guys threw your name on that homework paper. I know I'm not collecting it, but just so I can keep track of who's doing their homework and who's not. It's very possible I could make a mistake, so please do not throw away any of this homework assignments. When we get back to school and you don't agree with my grade book, all you got to do is show me those homework assignments and I'll give you full credit. All right. Thanks for all your hard work, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow for one more lesson this week.
Stay cool. Wash those hands. Miss you guys.